real quick here, I guess we're going to get ready to get started on the fitting contest. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of kind of an overview of maybe what I'm going to be looking for, so you guys aren't going in blind. Obviously, first thing, we want to make sure we keep the lamb safe and the kids safe, okay? So preferably, if we don't see anybody getting hurt, would be really good. So make sure you're careful with the hand shears and the clippers, and then try to make sure we keep these guys on the stand. We'll have some people around in case there's any issues. But the big thing I'm going to look for is how well do you display your use of the tools. I'm going to try to be coming around and asking some questions, watching and observing how you guys are using things, and then also, you know, your knowledge about what you're doing. To me, the most important thing, especially when we're blocking, is we have a full body of wool to work with. The one thing my father told me a long time ago was a good painter can't paint a picture if you don't know what he's going to paint. So we can grab a pair of hand shears and start clipping, but if we don't know what we're trying to do, we're just cutting wool off. So take a minute, try to figure out what we're going to try to do. I realize that in an hour's time, we're not going to get things anywhere even close to show ready. Okay? I realize that. I know what's involved in blocking sheep out, and it takes a great deal of time. Probably depends on whether you're working with Bud Martin or not. If you're working with Bud, it's about a 4 to 5 hour process. Okay, I like to think we can have sped it up a little bit at times, but it is a long process, and to do it right is meticulous and tedious. So, with that being said, I want you guys basically to demonstrate to me that you have an understanding of what you're trying to do, and we will get rolling here as soon as we get the Chevy calmed down. So, which might be a few minutes. But anyways, guys, good luck, and I'll be around to talk to you.
I'm gonna be leaving here soon. Is this the only key that we have?
I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know.
Do you know who can hang on to it?
I feel like Kathy probably should, but like I have no clue where she is. So, I mean, we'll hold on. 'Cause I think she's gonna be by later tonight.
Okay.
So, but like we just needed to get into it right now. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think of people need to be back in the morning to open up the trailer.
Yeah.
Usually Jake's been doing it, but
Yeah.
I've been showing up early enough to do it recently. I don't know if Jake will be doing it.
Yeah, well, we dropped it off at Jake's house last night, like on our way home.
Okay.
So, like, we might be doing the same thing tonight. I don't know. But thanks. Keep up the great work. Woo.
Guys, just so you know, we've got about 30 minutes left, so go ahead and pace yourself accordingly. Okay, guys, we're down to 5 minutes. 5 minutes to go. As we start winding down here, just kind of give a brief overview of what we're trying to accomplish out here. We've got 2 divisions. The young people here and the young man right here are in the junior division, and we got 2 seniors over there working. Anybody given a sheep that's not been washed or fitted in any way, and they're supposed to bring it out here, and we're going to have a fitting contest. Now there's a couple different styles that we're using. A young man over here chose the slick shear hairs. We've got the other individuals that are trying to, they're blocking theirs out, basically meaning that they're presenting them with fleece on, and we're going to try to use that fleece to help structure, help make those animals presentable in maybe a little better light. Create tight lines, level tail heads, that type of thing. We talked a little bit prior to starting about some things that we can do to try to help them along that way. I think the most important thing is to know what kind of a painting you want to paint before you start. So we need to be able to sit and assess these animals and figure out what it is that you want to do before you get started with those clippers or the hand shears or whatever it may be. Now, in their defense, this isn't exactly the way that we would go about it, because normally these sheep would have been washed, or they would probably have a bigger set of, a bigger toolbox maybe to work out of than what they do, because it is really hard to work and to fit through dirty wool, especially with a set of hand clippers. It's really a good way to give yourself carpal tunnel and wear yourself out. But I think just in talking to the kids, they have a fairly good grasp of the fundamentals. There's certainly some things that we're going to talk about here just in a little bit, probably a few minutes. Am I right? 3 minutes, and we're gonna wrap up in 3 minutes, guys. So any finishing touches you guys want to put on these lambs, we'll do that, and we're gonna pick a winner in the junior and the senior division. But I just want to take a minute and thank you guys for sticking around and supporting these young people. And then also while everybody's here, let's just give them a round of applause, because it takes a lot of guts. And quite honestly, they've been busy all day, and they come out here and designate an hour to try to learn something. And to me, there's a lot to be said of that. It's been a lot easier to say, I'm gonna go back and sit on the show box until 7 o'clock tonight and just hang out. But they chose to try to improve their skill set, maybe learn something, and we're going to talk about some of those things here in just a minute. But while they're wrapping up, we are seeing them use several different types of tools out here. The gentleman over here, the orange pair of shears that he has. Those are oyster sunbeam, and then he has, I think, it's a 2.5 inch, just a blocking comb on that, so he can navigate that dirty, coarse wool a little easier. That comb has a little bit bigger gap in between the blades, and he can get through there. Time. All right, guys, let's go ahead and let's put your tools down and get things picked up here, and we'll be around here shortly. So, with that being said, guys, we'll do a quick overview of what we did, and we're going to start with the senior division first. The gentleman over here, and if you don't mind, I'm going to ask if you would, if you don't mind, we'll leave that you on the stand for just a little bit, and maybe we'll go over a few little things here before you put it down. But basically, if you would, because a lot about 4-H and FFA is you need to get out of your comfort zone. If you would, I'd like you to tell the crowd your name, what 4-H club you're from, or FFA, the breed of your animal, and just a quick overview of what you wanted to accomplish today.
My name is Andrew Pickle. I go to Crafty Cougars 4-H Club, and I'm a part of North Putnam FFA. My sheep is a border Cheviot. It's a ewe that I'm shearing today. Basically, what I'm trying to accomplish is making her elegant looking, kind of giving her, showing off her hips and her front shoulders. And I wouldn't necessarily say blocking her out, but I'm showing each individual muscle part, showing her off basically.
Thank you again, man. And I think from what you can see, he's been able to accomplish a fair amount in that 1 hour time limit. He's got this back 2/3 pretty nicely blocked out. He's demonstrated to me the use of several tools, one being the clippers. And as you can see, we've got a fairly aggressive comb on there, so you got to be fairly careful or you're going to end up nicking them up. So he handled those pretty well. He also demonstrated the use of a poodle brush, being that, a card, and then he also ran the hand shears relatively well. One thing that you will notice as you fit, especially if you do this and you make it to that final process, the cart is the most important step in this whole thing, because if you do a good job carding, you can do a good job with the clippers. You can do a great job with the clippers, but if you did not card well, that fleece will be cracked and will have a bunch of different cracks in it in a short amount of time. But if you spend a good time carding, you can make that thing look just like it's just one piece, and it's pretty much seamless. My dad gave me plenty of practice of that. It shows. He would tell me to keep carding until he'd come back, and he'd leave for a couple hours, it seemed like. So I had a lot of practice doing that. But it does make for a better, does make you a better fitter, and it certainly allows you to do a better job with hand shears. Hey man, would you introduce yourself? Tell you, just give me a quick overview of what you were trying to do besides just keep her on the stand.
My name is Jacob Beatles. So what I was trying to accomplish with this sheep, which is a Suffolk cancer cross, was just trying to get her to look like a box. She did give me a lot of trouble today, which was unfortunate. We're kind of got that accomplished.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to give him an A+ for keeping his cool, because I asked him once, I said, yeah, let's give him a hand. I don't know that I would have stayed that composed. I asked him, I said, you got to get a little frustrated. He said, no. He says, I'm fine. And I said, no. I said, you're lying to me, aren't you? And I don't know. I think maybe he was actually that composed, because I sure would not have been. But I appreciate you doing that. It certainly helps keep that animal calm, even though she was upset. You worked through it very well. Young man, would you introduce yourself and I won't make you talk a whole lot, but just introduce yourself and tell us what 4-H club you're from, would you please?
My name's Aiden Beatles. I'm from the Lucky Clovers. So I have a Suffolk Hampshire mixed breed, and what I was just trying to accomplish was trying to cut the wool to make it look like she had more muscle and definition and tone. So,
Well, I think that was a very good answer, young man. You did a very nice job as well. As you can see, he was working with a set of hand shears, and that makes it difficult in dirty fleece. But he showed us a lot of things. The thing that I liked about him and the young lady over here and both these young men here, they spent a great deal of time with that card. And obviously we've got some differences in terms of the results, but they've got the right understanding and they're grasping the right concept in order to make themselves better, and I think that's the most important part. Young lady, could you introduce yourself and tell us what 4-H club you're from, please?
Madison Moore from the Rabbit.
And you're fitting on a Suffolk M, and she showed us when I talked to her earlier. She told me how important was the card, and we talked a little bit, and she's done a nice job as far as getting this lamb kind of blocked out and smoothed out a little bit. And we will we're going to kind of evaluate these guys here just a little bit, and we'll make our placings here. The young man over here with this the black lamb. Would you introduce yourself, please? And he chose to go ahead and shear his off down tight so that we can kind of see that lamb more from an aspect of a market lamb, correct? Now, obviously, we've got one kid out here on a big sheep. Some of them didn't cooperate quite as well today. I'm going to touch on a few things that I like, and we're going to start with the junior division. The young man here did a nice job as far as running those clippers. Those clippers are very hard to run when those fleeces are dirty. Those work much better in a work fleece. The one thing I did see him do that I didn't see anybody else do was pick up a set of hook trimmers and work on those hooks. Now, we didn't get into in-depth as far as how we did get those feet. But he did a relatively nice job for a young man getting those feet trimmed. And anytime you start a project, the most important project, whatever it may be, whether it's construction, whether it's an automobile, whether it's livestock, is a foundation. So whether it be concrete, whether it be tires, whether it be feet, we've got to make sure that we are sound at the ground and moving up. So I commend you for doing that. The young lady here has done a nice job getting that lamb relatively smooth. I appreciate what she's done and what the young man over here has done as far as working with those hand shears. To me, it becomes fairly close in this junior division. It becomes very close to me in this junior division because of the fact that we've seen some different skill sets shown to here. And with that, I think both the young lady and the young man did a relatively nice job running the hand shears. I think the young lady probably got just a little bit smoother finish. I think the young man might have had maybe a little bit better concept of what he wanted to do as far as making that package. And then the young man over here trying to get the lamb clipped out. Now, if we would have clipped that guy all the way out and got that belly peeled off of him, I would say that right here was probably going to be our top placer. I see you try to get that peeled off, okay? From a standpoint of fitting and using the tools and doing the smoothest job, the young lady right here is going to be my winner in the junior division. She really does a nice job with that. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and pull these junior lambs down. And then I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to talk to your seniors real quick. And then if you guys want to stick around for just a minute, the young man over here's agreed. We're gonna do a little demonstration on this Chevy at you, and we're gonna try to get her buttoned up so she can go back and look fancy in the pen. Anyways, over here, this young man's. I tell you what, my hat's off to you. there's no way I would have stayed as composed as you, and if I did, it would have only been on the outside, okay? So, hats off to you. The lamb didn't give you much opportunity to do what you wanted to do. One thing I would recommend is if you're going to try to block one out and you're going to try to cut it out with clippers, you've got to have something that's got a 13 tooth or something with some openness to that comb. Otherwise, you'll never penetrate that quartz wool, okay? I know what you're trying to do, and it's a great effort, but it just is going to be, it'd be like walking over and banging your head against that wall. That's about how pointless it is. You did a nice job running the card. I certainly appreciate that. And like I said, let's give him a big round of applause because he did have a rough go today. The young man over here, I think, really demonstrated probably the most, and obviously he's probably got more experience, but he showed us a lot of different things. I appreciate the willingness to tackle and use those clippers and get her kind of blocked out and cut out. We talked a little bit. I think there's a few things I'm going to show you guys right now. We're going to open up and do a few things that we can kind of change that pattern on that sheet real drastically without a whole lot of effort. But from that back 2/3, I thought he did a pretty nice job. He blended pretty nice. He does a pretty nice job running those clippers. We're going to, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and just do a quick little demonstration. I'm going to, if you don't mind me using your clippers on your sheet. It's been a little while, so hopefully I'm not too rusty. We'll get that front end done and we'll get her back in the pen, okay? Basically, what I want to do anytime we're gonna start to block a sheep out or cut one out, as I would say. I want to sit back and figure out what it is that I want to do. Now, I have had a fair amount of experience on the Chevets. Now, it's been years ago, but with these girls, what you want to do is you want to try to create as elegant of a package as possible, because a good portion of their breed scorecard is based off of this object right here, and that's their head. So you want them to look elegant, feminine, and very attractive. One thing that I normally try to do is I will leave what we call a crown on the top of on the wool on the top of the neck. That'll do a couple things. Number one, that'll give you the optical illusion that will bring this ear set up from a visual standpoint. It's not actually going to change it, but when you put something in there, it's going to make that ear set look a little more correct. If you want those ears pointing straight up. The other thing we're going to do is we want to make this cow as long-bodied and as extended to that front as we can. So with that being said, we're going to find the base of her neck. We're going to cut the back out here. We're going to cut that shoulder down and try to give her more of a rounded appearance. We'll trim up around this tail head, and then we're going to blend that shoulder. And that's kind of what we're going to do. I'm going to try to do that right now. Hopefully I don't mess it up real bad.
Attention sheep exhibitors, we need the Scramble Lamb exhibitors down here for a picture. We need the Scramble Lamb exhibitors down here for a picture in the indoor arena. Bring your plaques with you, please.
Thank you, Jeff. Did they hear it? Don't tell anybody that was me. Pretend it was somebody else. Okay?
Place. The young man did a really nice job, and as you can see, with a little bit of shaping here and there, we can change that animal quite a little bit. Now, we're obviously not done. We could be out here for a while yet. I noticed there's a little situation with the comb, and the cutter's not fitting quite right. So in efforts to not nick her again, as I did back here when she jumped, we're gonna let her go. But what I wanted to show him was that basically we can take this front and we can streamline that down, and we can really make her look much more elegant. Just by the way we cut her out, we can really true up those lines and really help shape that. Just kind of paint a little bit different picture. You get rid of some of that roundness and really make them look a lot more extended. But I want to commend you because I thought he did an outstanding job, and you handled those shears very confidently. Just something to think about. And I'm going to say that if I'm going to critique my job, I took a little too much right here. If I would have left that on right there, she's going to look more balanced to the front. But that kind of comes with kind of rushing around. But certainly some things you can do, and certainly you got a really nice skill set. So congratulations, young man, on winning that senior division. Let's give him a big round of applause, and everybody that's been out here and helped. Really nice job, guys, and thank you for working with me on this.